Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WordPress Sydney, the big meetup at the end of the month. So we are here today. My name is Will Brown, and join with me today, James Cardamy, and we'll be your host today. Before we get started, I just want to say, just make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell, just so you get notified of all the different videos when we publish them. And just a quick shout out to our sponsors as well. And so we want to thank Kinetics and WP Engine, Plesk, WordPress, of course, and Microsoft. So they all chip in and give us various things throughout the year, event space, money, help, everything like that. So thanks very much to our sponsors. And hopefully we'll get to see them in person next year when we can all meet together after this COVID thing. But first, let's do a little bit of introduction. Myself, my name is Will Brown, and I'm one of the organisers for the WordPress Sydney meetup and WordCamps when we do them as well. My background, I've been using WordPress since about 2008, mostly back-end development, but moved more into a kind of consultancy role at the moment. So I love WordPress. I make my living from WordPress, so I like to give back to the community. And that's one of the reasons why we do these WordPress meetups, just to give back to the community, help the community grow and sustain. And that means that you guys are all using WordPress, which we can run a business from. So that's myself. I'll hand over to James. Do a quick intro.
Thanks, Will. Everyone here. My name's James Carmody. I've similar situation to Will. I haven't been using WordPress as long as him. I've been using it since I think about 2013, and really got into the SEO side of WordPress recently. I work for a company in Surrey Hills called Prosperity Media, and it's an SEO only agency. So I've been using my WordPress skills that I've picked up since 2013 and using that to help out all the clients with their WordPress sites, since it's used on 60% of all CMSs and 30% of the entire internet. So yeah, it's been really good. And yeah, same story as well. I like to give back and go to events. It would be better if it was in person, I think, but we can all agree on that one. And have some pizzas and things. But yeah, hopefully we can do that soon. So I think we're going to jump straight in. I'm doing Beaver Builder. And Will is doing Elementor just after mine. And if we should be able to do a bit of demo as well. Alrighty. So Will's controlling the slides today. So Beaver Builder, I looked into the history of it a little bit. It's been around for quite a while, I think, since 2014 or 2015 or something like that, where it started. And within 2 years, I think they made a couple $1 million with just selling licenses, because it picked up across the world. Everyone loved it. It's lightweight and it's easy to use. It doesn't really have all of the flashy kind of features that you would say like Divi or some other ones would have. It's very, I think, developer friendly. It's my weapon of choice, and I think it has one of the best performance in my testing out of all the other page builders natively. And when you do things like install WP Rocket for caching to improve your speed, you can usually enable pretty much all of the JavaScript caching and everything like that, and it doesn't break. Where a lot of the other ones like Visual Composer, Divi, and I'm not sure about Elementor, but yeah, they usually break when you try and optimize the site too much, where Beaver Builder doesn't really do that, which is good. So moving on, Beaver Builder comes in four different pieces of software, or three, really, because a lot of the other ones, they've got a free version and they've got a pro version, and you need to install the free version and then install the pro version on top of that. Where Beaver Builder is different, you just install the pro version or the agency version, and that's it. Beaver Builder works with most themes. I recommend finding like a blank theme that has 0 features, because you don't really need it. Maybe you can find a theme that helps you do with setting like default fonts and default link colors and things like that. Beaver Builder, depending on which version you buy, which I'll show you on the next screen in just a second, has 3 different versions. The free and the standard version of Beaver Builder doesn't come with their theme, but you can use pretty much any theme with it. It doesn't really matter. Some other themes that people use is the Page Builder Framework, or Astra, and other ones like that. There's also an add-on for Beaver Builder, which turns it into a theme builder. So that's something that they've really been honing in on in the last few years, and they kind of had this theme builder feature before everyone else. And what that lets you do is it lets you use the power of the Beaver Builder page builder and apply layouts to headers, to footers, to singular layouts. So it means like you can create one theme layout for one blog post, and then every time a blog post will be added to the site in the back end, it uses that one theme layout across the whole site. It's really powerful. It's probably the most powerful out of all of the other theme builders on the market. I think Divi just released a theme builder with their Divi 4. Elementor's had it for a few years now as well. But in my testing, it's definitely one of the most feature-rich and powerful theme builders available currently on the market. It does a few things that I think Elementor doesn't do, such as it lets you do theme parts. So you can create more advanced layouts by saying, I want to create a menu at the top, my body content in the middle, and then have a theme part assigned to above the header, above the menu. So you can create like floating menu bars at the bottom, and then when you scroll, they stick. So things like that you can just create more advanced layouts that you can't do with any other page builder. In my testing 8 months ago, that may have changed since then. Yeah, so let's have a look at their pricing on the next slide. So just bring my slides up to scratch. There we go. So at first, it may look pretty expensive, $399 for the agency version, but most people don't need that version. I pay for that version, and I think it renews at 50% discount. I know it renews at a discount. I'm not sure what the exact discount is. I think it's 50%. And that gives you extra features such as white labeling. If you're an agency and you don't want to have the Beaver Builder name there, you can have white labeling. You can call it your company builder, or just a builder in general. It lets you use it on multi-site networks. I'm following in a Facebook group called WP Ultimo Users or something like that. I can't remember the exact name, but it's a plugin that lets you create multi-site networks like Wix. Your own version of Wix you can create in WordPress. And Beaver Builder is the plugin of choice there, as it lets you use it on unlimited sites. It doesn't limit to that. And it has multi-site network settings, which is really cool. But for most people, you probably don't need that version. The Pro version is next. That one's good. It has most of the features. It can work on a multi-site. It doesn't have the multi-site network settings, but it works on a multi-site. And it comes with the Beaver Builder theme, which is just a blank canvas theme. And I think I would say if you're using it for a couple sites, it's probably worth getting the Pro version. Otherwise, the standard version, $99 is fine. And it doesn't come with the Beaver Builder theme, but you can use any theme with it, really. I've been using it with the Page Builder Framework on a few sites, and it's working well. But yeah, unlike, I think Elementor only limits you to, Elementor used to have an unlimited site plan, but they only limit you to 1,000 sites now for their top plan. I think Will will fact check that in when he does his slides. But yeah, so a lot of the multi-site users weren't able to they had to switch from Elementor back to Beaver Builder. In terms of the modules and things that it comes with, all 3 versions here come with pretty much the same features. There's no real difference in features. There is a difference in features to the free version, which I didn't show here. It's available in the WordPress repo, so you can just type in Beaver Builder in your plugins and you can download it. Up until very recently, the free version was actually pretty limiting. It didn't even let you have headers and buttons. And then in the latest update, they've allowed you to do that in the free version now. So for most people, you probably don't even need the standard version. If you're just doing a basic site, you can probably get away with using the free version. And the reason why, and so you'll notice here as well, it doesn't mention anything about the theme builder, the awesome theme builder I was telling you on the last slide. The reason why is because it's a separate add-on. It's $149 US from when I checked recently. And the reason why I think it's separate is because they can do it because it's the most powerful on the market. But it means that you can use the theme builder and the light version, the free version of Beaver Builder, so you don't actually need to pay for the standard version to use it. It's a standalone plugin, which is awesome. Okay, so let me just check in the comments to see if there's any questions first of all. Doesn't look like there's been any more yet. If you have any questions, just let me know. Put it in the comments, and I'm happy to answer that. So moving on. So as soon as you install Beaver Builder for the first time, it comes up with like a little welcome screen, just explaining how it works, how you can get started. They've got guides and a few things like that. I'll probably go through these slides pretty quickly. So next we've got where you can put your license. Yep, there we go. So you can add your license in. You don't need to have any annoying logins or anything. You can just put your license key in it. It works no problem. And you just put in the license for Beaver Builder, and it works for all the theme, for the Beaver Themer and the plugin itself. Next, we've got module settings. So it's actually pretty cool. You can control, enable and disable which modules show on the front end. So if you're building sites for just yourself, you could probably just enable all of them. Unlike other page builders, such as Visual Composer, which I guess these Elementor and Beaver Builder have kind of left in the dust, it doesn't load, while it loads all of the modules for use in developing your site, it doesn't load them in the front end. It only loads whichever ones you use in the front end. And that was a big problem with a few of the early page builders, where even if you only used one button page, it would load all of the modules into that page. It would really screw up your load times. So it doesn't really matter. You don't have to worry about that here. You can this is just for developing. Next, you can enable and disable post types. So the standard post types on WordPress would be a post and a page. If you're using something like pods or CPT UI, or you're coding your own post types, you can then enable Beaver Builder on those post types. But often you'd only need to have it enabled on pages, because if you were using Beaver Themer, then you would use that to apply that to the post layouts or your other post types, and then you just create one layout, which I'll show you in the very last slide, to do all of that, and it's really useful. Next, we've got template settings. So templates come baked in with Beaver Builder. They just launched a whole new set of templates, which is awesome. This is kind of how I got started into Beaver Builder, because I didn't really know how to make a layout when I first started. So what I did is they've got these pre-built templates to build, I think, 5 or 6 different styles of websites. And you can just drag and drop them in, and then you drag in a whole template, and it overrides, or you can override or append it to the bottom. It's got headings, text, buttons all lined up and ready to go. It's really nice. You can even, let's say if you were making a multi-site, for example, you could even upload your own templates for your users to use. Or if you're an agency and you're building sites for other people, or a freelancer, you can create your own templates and upload those into the site. And then your clients and customers can use that to build their site or amend their site. So it's you could create this is the call to action row, this is the header row, and you can just save them in there, and they can use that on different pages on the site. It's really powerful. Next, we've got user access. I can't remember if this was a agency agency license feature or not, or if it's available on all of them. I think it's available on all of them. I need to check. It lets you control like what users can see. So you can lock down certain parts of Beaver Builder. So if someone's a user, they're just an editor, so they're just working on content, or they're just an author, you can say to them, you can set the access that they have to Beaver Builder, which is really powerful. So for example, you could say admins are the only ones who can do the theme layout editing, and editors can edit the layouts for single pages but not theme layouts. So it gives kind of more control and more stability to the website. Next, you can enable and disable icons. So what this does, this basically, which is more of a technical term, it enqueues the icons across the website. So what that means is that these icon font files are ready for use on any page on your website. And what that does is you can then use those icons in Beaver Builder or not in Beaver Builder. Even if you wanted to use it on one of your pages, that's fine. So I'm just reading the comments. So I'll get to the SEO hack in a second. So what's the difference? Graham's saying, what's the difference between a template and a theme? So a theme is, I guess it's a little bit outdated for how WordPress works, but a theme is usually what controls the header and the footer and layouts such as the post layout. So like if you visit a post or blog on a website, every post looks the same. It's just the content that's changed. So a theme traditionally is what controls that those stylings and functions. A template in Beaver Builder is a page template, so you can create like a row and have the heading, the text, and a button, and you can drag those into any page of the website. They're kind of not really similar at all. A good comparison to a theme, and why I said that traditionally, is because page builders have kind of changed into theme builders. So Beaver Themer, Elementor has it built in, Divi 4. They've all got theme builders now, and these I guess theme builders replace themes. So it'd be interesting to first only see what happens when the block editor becomes more of a theme builder, because I think in WordPress 5.6 there was some notes about that. They're going to change. You're going to be able to edit settings on a header and a footer. It's very new, so these are very mature, and I think a lot nicer in the way they do them. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question. What the difference is. Someone's saying, Barbara's saying, finding the slides are out of focus. We're using StreamYard. Our streaming software only does 720p. But if your internet connection is bad, you might have to go down into YouTube settings or Facebook settings and increase the quality to 720p. You should be able to read the text from that. But yeah, either way, it'll be on the page afterwards if you need to go back and have a look. Okay, next slide. So we're on icons. So branding. This is
SEO hack.
Say that. Sorry again, Will.
SEO hack.
SEO. Oh yeah, I missed that one. Good pickup. Yeah, SEO hack. So if you've built your site, you've gone through and build your site. You've used all the icons where you want. You've put an icon here. You've put an icon here. What you can do is actually disable all of these after your website's finished. Go to icomoon.io, and I don't have a screen grab of their site, but it's pretty easy. You just sign up. I don't think you even need an account actually. You just open up, and you can create your own icon font. So all of the icons that you're using and not all of the extra ones are loading every time a page loads. Because see how you can see there's I don't know if you can read it. It says Font Awesome 5, Font Awesome Regular, Font Awesome Brands, Foundation Icons, WordPress, Dash Icons. You can even enable Font Awesome Pro. Each one of those is a different request. So a request is when a page loads. And by creating your own font file in Icomoon, you can reduce usually like 10 extra requests into one request, put all of them in one file, and increase your load speed. It's a little bit tricky to get your head around, but Icomoon makes it really easy. And after you've created your Icomoon font file, you can go and disable all of these. And I like Beaver Builder for being able to do that. All right, next slide. So we've got the white label settings, white label agency version. What that lets you do is, as I said before, rename Beaver Builder to your own builder. You can have your company name or just make it generic. It's pretty good, and you can even set up like help icons to go to your site instead of Beaver Builder's site, and things like that. The last settings page for Beaver Builder is tools. So what tools does is it lets you basically clear the cache every time, or if you're seeing some issues with a layout, because all of Beaver Builder settings are stored dynamically. Sometimes they get a little bit stuck every now and then. It probably happens maybe like once every couple months. You can just go through and clear the cache, and that will let you continue editing with no problems. All right, so let's go into, that's all the settings done. Let's go into how to turn on Beaver Builder. So if you go into the back end of the website, you can see this is a WordPress 5 site, because it's got the nice block editor there. And all you've got to do is click on the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, and then click on Convert to Beaver Builder, which is on the right there. What that does is that then opens up Beaver Builder, converts the page to Beaver Builder, takes all of your existing content, so all of your sample page text, all of, as you can see I've got there, all of your text. If you have a button, images, it'll all convert that into Beaver Builder content and put it on the front end, and then you can go and edit that and make it a bit more fancier, I guess. The second way to enable Beaver Builder, well, actually, after you've enabled Beaver Builder, on the next slide, is when you open a page that's running Beaver Builder, because a page is either running Beaver Builder or it's not. It's using the standard editor or it's using Beaver Builder. When you've opened up a page again after enabling Beaver Builder, you'll see this box, and what this says is basically Beaver Builder is running on this page. Press the big blue button to launch Beaver Builder and continue editing, or use the standard editor, and what that does is the reverse of what enabling Beaver Builder does. So it takes all of your content and disables Beaver Builder and converts it back into blocks. So it's really powerful. The third way to enable Beaver Builder is from the front end. So if you're viewing your website logged in as an admin, you'll see the WordPress bar at the top, the black bar at the top there. You'll see a little Beaver Builder icon, and you can just click that, and that will enable Beaver Builder for that page. And there's a little tip there as well. You can see there's a little dot next to the end of that, on the right of that Beaver Builder text. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's pretty small, but if that is gray, it means Beaver Builder is not enabled. If it's green, it means Beaver Builder is enabled. So it's a good little tip there. All right. So when you open up Beaver Builder, after we've explored the different ways to do that, you'll see your content. So in the front end, there's no back-end editing. Beaver Builder doesn't support back-end editing. It's all in the front end, which is awesome. And you'll see, as you move your mouse, little boxes, blue and gray boxes will show up around the content that you're currently editing. If you click on that, then it will show up on the right-hand side. You can actually drag that editor, I guess you would call it. You can drag it to the left-hand side as well, or you can have it floating, so you can move it around on the screen. It's pretty cool. And you can see there it's got all the modules, so you can drag a new module in. You can drag a new row in, which I'll get to. And you can click on the existing modules on the left-hand side, and it'll open up the settings to edit those. It's pretty powerful. And on the next slide, you can see that's what that looks like if you do something like that. So the way Beaver Builder works is with your content, you have rows, but this is a little bit tricky to, I guess, get your head around for the first time. But once you understand it, you're like, oh, that actually makes sense. So you have rows, and people often get confused about, like, oh, well, I've got a row, I want 2 columns in my row. Well, it actually doesn't work like that. You have a 2-column row, and that doesn't sit inside a 1-column row. You have a 2-column row. So you can have a 2-column row, a 3-column row, up to 6 columns, and you can control the size of those. On tablet, you can change the width. It's really powerful. I won't get into it today, but that's more of an advanced Beaver Builder lesson. Then you'll see when you click on a module in the middle there, that one's text editor. You've got 3 tabs usually: general, which just controls the content for that. The middle tab is styling, so it controls colors, fonts, anything you want, links, and then advanced is like margins and padding and things like that. Then you've also got settings for rows. So you can see there, there's row settings, and you've also got column settings, which is separate to row settings, even though they're the same thing. And that lets you control like widths and different colors and pictures and things like that on rows. It really lets you create some nice layouts once you get your head around it. So next slide, the last one is Beaver Thema. So this is what Beaver Thema looks like. It's in a separate part of WordPress. It's not in the Beaver Builder settings. It's in its own menu called Beaver Builder. And what that lets you do is you can create headers, footers. You can choose where you want those headers and footers to live. It's probably a little bit blurry, but you could create one header and put it on your homepage, one footer and put it on your homepage, and then have a separate header and footer for other parts of the site. You can have a separate header and footer if someone's logged in or logged out. You can have separate content if you've got different URL parameters in the top of the bar. There's, I can't even remember them. There's so many of different options and different rules on how you want things to show up. An example of this is the company I work for, Prosperity Media. I recently rebuilt their site in Beaver Builder, and the homepage has a bit more styling applied to it than all the other pages. So in the header, we've got an image and a transparent header at the top, so the image shows through behind it. But on the rest of the site, we don't have that. We've just got a solid header, a solid gray header, and that fits in with the rest of the theme. So it's really powerful. I think that is about it for the intro to Beaver Builder. Will, do you think we should go on to your slides, and then if we have time to do a demo at the end, we'll both do a demo at the end?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yep, thanks. Thanks, Jen. That was really good.
Yeah, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments, and we're happy to answer them at the end. We'll do like a Q&A at the end, I think.
Yeah. So apologies for those who can't read the slides. I know it is a bit blurry tonight. It's usually legible, but it is a bit blurry tonight. So we'll release the slides for this. I put a link in the comments below. So that should be going through just now. So you should be able to at least follow that along for those. Yeah,
sounds good.
Right. So Elementor. Right. Let's jump into Elementor just now. And again, if you've got any questions, post them in the comments and I'll try and answer them throughout the slide. And if not, then we'll have a chat afterwards. Okay, Sunil has asked a question. What percentage of clients okay with using page builders, themes, Divi, Avada, etc.? What percentage of clients specifically asked to build a website from scratch? And again, another question from my follower is when to use page builders and when not. So James, do you want to pop in with that one just now?
So from, I guess maybe if you asked that question 5 years ago, the answer would probably be very different. Custom dev of sites was very, I guess, prominent. All the design agencies were doing it, and it's because you were able to control the speed of the site. You if you don't want something on one page, you can get rid of it. But I think more recently, and with these page builders becoming theme builders, I'd say a higher percentage of clients wanted to use that. I've actually never had a client ask me to do something custom. And I've had I've had some decent sized clients as well. But a lot of the reason why is because when you build something custom, it's very difficult to change something. And from like a user's perspective, they have to contact the developer to do it. And when you use like a theme builder or a page builder, now that they're probably on par, or if not faster than some of the custom dev work, then I would say 100% would just go with using a page builder.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think nowadays the page builders, because they can do the whole site, that's just a game changer.
Yeah, definitely. And also you've got to remember that when a custom dev, or like if someone custom builds a site, there's only one person in the whole world who knows how that site works, the developer. Where if you're using a widely used page builder like Beaver Builder or Elementor, then not only do you have an entire development team behind that software who's always working to make it faster and better and more reliable, that you've also got a wide array of people and documentation who can pick it up where you left off. So that's something you've got to remember as well.
Yep, Joe, I completely agree with you. I really don't think most clients care what technology solution, as long as it's to budget and they can use it afterwards. I think they're all quite happy with using page builders just now. It's certainly easier for them. It's drag and drop. It's less.
Yeah, they can update it themselves.
Okay, let's jump into it. Elementor. Okay, so as with Beaver Builder, the free version of Elementor, it allows you to modify just the content within the posts and pages. So that's the content that you enter into the post or page editor. Now, the free version, it allows you to modify post content for mobile and tablets, but that's pretty much where it stops. So it's a good little entry tool if you're if you're a blogger and you've got a standard header and footer, and you just want to create nice kind of page and post layouts. It's a really good little tool for doing that. However, we're going to talk about the pro version tonight, and that's the whole site builder experience. So what James has been talking about. It really is a game changer for both Beaver and Elementor, and Divi's caught on with that now, is to be able to update elements outside the post and page content, things like footers and 404 and search pages. So the paid version of Elementor, it does that. So it allows you to build your headers and your footers, your archive pages, your single pages, single posts, 404 pages, your search results, WooCommerce products as well. So you can create all of those types of elements. And similar to what James was talking about, the components parts, you can save parts of Elementor creations as templates, and then you can bring them back into a page wherever you want, and they'll bring in all the data from wherever data sources you have things. So you can certainly mix it up, be creative. You can reuse templates across multiple sites. So, for example, I've got an ebook sign up template, so I can then just bring that into pages, or I can bring it into posts on a particular category. So if it's my security WordPress security ebook, then I can show that sign up template on just the security categories for posts and pages relating to those. So I do like the template function. It's really powerful to build it once and then reuse it lots of times. Some things that Elementor Pro has that maybe Beaver doesn't, they've went a little bit more into the visual side than Beaver has. So Beaver's very good for structure. It's quite good for development as well. Whereas Elementor kind of went for the visual wows a little bit more. over Beaver, I guess. So they offer things like pop-ups. So, you know, most sites use pop-ups nowadays and for marketing to capture leads to download ebooks and stuff like that. So Elementor has them for free. Well, free when you buy the pro version. So a lot of my clients like using that because they've got a lot of landing pages that they have pop-ups on. And you can disable them for mobile, or you can tweak them for mobile as well, or force them to be up or down. So it's a lot of control over pop-ups. Another thing that separates it a little bit from Beaver is the motion effects. Now, I've not used these a great deal because, you know, I kind of like static images. But I guess if you to use them well, if you just have like a few elements, or if you want to try and capture someone's attention. But essentially, it's a full animated motion effects tool within Elementor. So you can trace things across the screen. You can make them move, wiggle. You can transform them, move them around. So anything you can do with CSS transformations and keys, you can. Elementor brings that into like the editor experience. So if you're looking for animations to enhance your website, if you're looking to do that sort of thing, then yeah, Elementor might be something to give you like a visual boost over your competition. It also has things like dynamic conditions that I'm sure Beaver Builder has as well. But you can hide sections or rows or bits of content, what they call widgets, the drop-in things. You can hide that depending on a myriad of different conditions. So if a field has a particular value, or if it's empty, or if it's true, or if you're using something like advanced custom fields to add on to custom post types, then you can set it to a particular value and then display the data in that or not. So you can definitely hide widgets, you can hide rows or sections, what they call them in Elementor, really easily, which I think is fantastic. You can also hide elements for responsively. So you can hide whole sections, whole rows if it's on mobile. So if you've got like nice desktop graphics, big fancy headers or footers and things like that, they don't really work well on mobile because people just want to get to the data. You can just hide all those dynamically for tablets or mobiles. Elementor as well provides forms. So they've got a built-in form templates as well, so you don't have to go adding anything like Gravity Forms or Contact Form 7 or Ninja Forms. They have forms in there. And they also integrate quite a lot with a lot of third-party services like MailChimp, ActiveCampaign. So they've got interactions and integrations with quite a lot of those. So you can actually see the complete free versus pro. What features. I'll post a link in there on the Elementor website, and they've got them listed side by side. It's quite funny when you have a look at them. Number of, there's only like 2 or 3 free things, and then everything else is pro. So it's a little bit different from Beaver Builder. So let's have a look at the pricing. I'll pop that up in the full screen. Hopefully it's a little bit less blurry, this one. So unlike Beaver, they don't do an unlimited license. As James said, they used to do unlimited, but now they've restricted that to 1,000 sites for the ultimate. You can, of course, buy extra site licenses if you need to, but I think 1,000 sites should be enough for most people and most development companies if you're not really full into like huge multi-sites, as James was mentioning. So it's pretty cheap. There's the personal for $49 US, and that gives you 1 site license, and it gives you access to all the pro features. So there's nothing held back. And as with Elementor, you don't need a separate plugin like the Themer to create the whole website experience. So that's built in. So there's just Elementor Pro, and that's it. The next step up is Plus. If you've got 3 sites. That's quite popular with a lot of my clients because we normally have like a lot of the clients I have their main site, and then they might have a couple of micro sites that are doing marketing. So that's quite a popular choice for them, $99 a year, US dollars, of course, for 3 sites. And then, if you're a developer and you want to stick with something, then yeah, go for the expert bundle. That's the one I've got, $200 per year. 1,000 site licenses, and I'm nowhere near that just now. And a lot of the licenses that I use are on staging sites. So I might have, when I'm doing a project, I've got my local machine, which is connected up, so that's one license. I've then got a staging server for the customers to have a look at. That's another license. And then ultimately, there'll be like a license for the end version, which of course is belong to the customer. But you really could talk about kind of three site licenses if you're looking to kind of develop a cycle for a business website for a client. Okay, let's look at installation and activation. Quite similar to Beaver Builder in that, it's all visual. So when you activate the Elementor plugin, which you'll download the Pro version from Elementor when you log in and subscribe to them. You'll actually need the Pro version plugin and the free Elementor plugin as well. So if you don't have the free plugin installed, when you've installed the Pro version, it'll give you a button that you can just click and it'll install it in the back end for you. So you do need both versions, the free and then the Pro, which extends on the free. So it's a very visual connection. There's only a couple of clicks. So you'll be asked to connect and activate. You click on the button there to connect it. It'll then say, connect it with my.elementor.com, and it will find who you are, and then you'll have a big button at the bottom to activate your license. Just a little note of caution, I guess. You can see just above the activate button there's a little clause that it basically opts you into sending your plugin data usage back to Elementor so they can use it as a marketing and usage to make the product better. I like to opt out of that. It's totally up to you what you want to do, but I prefer to have my plugin usage private. So just be aware of that. You can go into the settings later on and uncheck that if you want. There you go. So a very simple activation process. When that's done and you go back to the admin page, you'll see two views. You'll have your main Elementor view, and on there you've got your settings. You can set up fonts, icons, roles as well, similar to what James was talking about with the user roles. So you can specify how different types of users can see and interact with Elementor. And then there's another admin view under that called templates. And this is where you see all your saved templates and your actual theme builder as well, where you get access to your header, your footer, 404, single pages, and things like that. But let's roll that back a little bit. Obviously, if you're going to use Elementor, you need to be thinking about what sort of themes to use with that. In general, I think most modern themes from a year plus ago are going to work with Elementor. But of course, if you're creating a business website, you want to double check with that. And you can check with the theme author directly. And there's also a link on Elementor's website. And I'll just drop the link in the comments here. So that is 78 current-ish themes that are highly compatible with Elementor. So they list them through. Personally, I like to use the Elementor's free Hello theme, which you can install from the theme dashboard on your website. It's a completely blank canvas. So there's no templates, widgets, and there's minimal CSS. It's completely ideal for creating a site from scratch. What I do is I download that template, the Hello theme, and then I create a child theme from that, and then name that with the business name for the theme. So that then inherits all the updates to Hello. So other popular themes I've used or clients have used, OceanWP and GeneratePress. They're both pretty lightweight and have free and paid options. I guess OceanWP is focused more on visual with templates that you can bring in, and GeneratePress is kind of more focused on SEO, more focused on content. But regardless, whichever theme you use, set up your site identity and your theme settings using Customizer before you head over to Elementor. So things like your site logo, your tagline, and things like that. Let's jump into the settings. So it's a bit blurry. Sorry for that. So before you start using Elementor, you need to set up some settings. So here, similar to Beaver, you can choose which post types you can use Elementor with. There's also a couple of options for disabling default colors and fonts that come with Elementor. So you can force Elementor not to use its own fonts and colors, but to use your theme styles as well, if that's the way you want to do. And here there's the checkbox that you can opt out of sending data back to Elementor.com. Some settings. So if you go down to the Elementor and then settings, you can set up things like fonts and icons. Here's a general set. Oh, that's a general setting just now. Let's go to this one. Okay. So there's different styles you can set up. Style sheets. You can also set up fonts as well and icons. And in fact, there's quite a few settings as well. So once you actually go into most of the settings in Elementor are actually in the Elementor builder. So go and create yourself a draft page. And this is, again, before you even get started with developing for your design or your themes. You want to be setting up all your site settings. So create a test page, a draft page, and then edit it with Elementor. It's a big blue button on the page, so you won't miss that out. So click on that and put it in edit mode. And then you're going to click on the top left-hand side in the Elementor visual editor, and that's like a hamburger menu. And then you'll see these here. You'll see these drop-down lists here, the site settings. And you really want to be setting these up before you go changing or designing pages. Otherwise, you're going to be in a whole world of pain trying to retweak pages and buttons and typographies and layouts. So things here are global colors. So they've got this concept of primary, secondary text, and an accent color. So set those up for your brand. Global fonts as well. You want to make sure that your base font is the right one, and your headings and your text is all that correct font. Your typography as well. You can set colors, size, weights as well as general. And then you can go down the whole list of H1, H2, all the way to H5 tags as well, just setting up their sizes and typography. And then lastly, there's a layout section, and that basically allows you to change the width, the maximum width the Elementor will work with, and also the responsive page breaks as well, so where it cuts off on mobile as well. So you definitely want to go through all those settings first before you even get into looking at Elementor, actually designing with it. A quick question from Alan. Without being theme specific, is it better to use a simple theme with Elementor or Beaver, or a highly featured theme? That's a great question, Alan. I guess with more advanced themes like Astra and Avada, they do things like headers and footers, sticky headers. So you're going to find there's a certain amount of overlap. If you're going for a more advanced theme like Astra, it's going to be doing things that also Beaver and Elementor do. I actually got stuck with that. I did a website using Astra and Beaver, and I went back to it after a few months, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to edit the Beaver header, only to find out it was actually Astra that was that the header was done in. And some of the typography was set up in Astra, and some of it was in Beaver, and it just got all confusing. So I guess I would start with a simpler theme and then just build on what you need using Beaver or Elementor. Yeah, great question. Okay, I am going to try and risk doing a demo to actually show you what the Elementor page builder looks like, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more visually. So let me stop that and share my screen again and see if we've got this tab open. Okay, I'll just resize that just so I can see me and you guys as well. Where are we? All right, good. Okay, so hopefully you guys, I'll put it in full mode. You don't want to see me. There you go. I'll just resize this a little bit better. There we go. That's good. All righty. So here we are in just a local theme that I have. You can see it's got, here's your Elementor settings. You've got your custom fonts here. So this is what you want to set up. So if you want to add new fonts in, You can add font variations. So you've got your WOFF, your WOFF2 files, TTF files, SVGs, and EOT. If anyone's using IE6 out there, oh my goodness, I hope not. Custom icons as well. So you can add SVG icons, just drag and drop them if that's what you want to use. Rows as well. This is what James was talking about. So what can editors do? What can subscribers do? What can customers do? If you've got WooCommerce installed, which I have on this local one, what can shop managers do? So got no access to the editor or access only the content, not the header or footer or any templates. You've got some tools here. Something I got caught out with when moving Elementor to a new website was when you're building with Elementor, it stores all the URLs as full URLs in its own CSS files. And when you copy it up into another server, obviously it's pointing to the local machine or the test server. So whenever you move Elementor, or if you've got any problems, you come here to Tools and regenerate the files. And that regenerates the CSS and all the files that Elementor uses when you're building for that. And if that isn't good enough, you can try replace URL from the old site to the new site, and that'll go through all the CSS files as well and just make sure they are all running okay. Templates. So this is the second menu you get with Elementor. It defaults to save templates, which can be a bit confusing. I wish it did default to theme builder, because when I first started using Elementor, I'm like, where are all my headers and footers? I don't know. So these are your actual save templates, the ones you save yourselves. If you go down to theme builder, these are the actual templates that you want to set up for your site. So header, footer, single post, search results, error pages, things like that. So, and here as well, you can set up your pop-ups for your site. So you can create new pop-ups, and then you basically tell them how, on which pages they should appear. Elementor calls these instances. So yeah, I'm just going to try and show you basically how to create a quick header and footer. So at the moment, let's have a quick look at the site. This is it's just the basic hello Elementor. There's nothing too fancy. What I've created a logo, just a test logo, and I added that using the customizer. So there's no Elementor stuff going on here at all. So let's go back to the dashboard, Elementor templates theme builder, and let's create a quick header. So you come in here, you add a new header, give it a name. So site header, create template. So then load in the Elementor Visual Builder. So you have a choice here to pull in templates from the template library that you get with Elementor Pro. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to skip on that and say, no thanks, I'm going to create my own. So at the left-hand side, you've got all your widgets that you drag and drop. Let me just put that full screen so it's not my face hiding everything. So site logo, site title, page title, nav menus, things like that. Then you've got all your basic ones like images, text blocks, videos, and then you've got all your pro elements that you don't have with the free version. So forms, slides, flip boxes, call to action. Let's keep it simple. So I am going to just create site logo. So you drag it and drop there, and it, by default, same way as Beaver works, it creates rows and then columns within rows. So you drag an element on, and it's created a section, and then it's created a column in this section, one column. So I can duplicate that. It creates a second column, or I can then just add, right-hand click and add a new column that adds a blank column. I can go back into the widgets and then drag nav menu. I don't think I've got a nav menu, so I'll do. There you go. So there, it's a very, very simple header, and you can drag that along to do the different sizes. Right-hand click and edit column. So you can change column widths, sizes. You can do the vertical alignment as well. So let's make these all middle, or you can do section as well, and you can do vertical align all middle there, and it makes them all nicely in the middle. And you can float things left and right. Huge control over everything you want. So let's just do that just now. In fact, let's just put a border on this section. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Style, border type solid. I don't want everything, just on the bottom I'll put a 4 pixel, and I'll choose like a pinky color to go with the logo, and I'll publish that. Okay, so when you're creating templates, it's going to ask you where you want to display your template, and then you add a condition here. So this one is entire site, or you could add on pages or somewhere else, include, exclude. So you can really, singular. Maybe you just want that one to display on the front page. You can have a custom header just to your home page. But let's just do entire site. Save and close that, and then we'll go back to we'll exit this. So hamburger menu, and then you can go exit to dashboard. Here we go. It takes you back into the post there. Let's have a look at the site. And oh, it hasn't changed the color. Of course it hasn't, because this is a live demo. So let's just customize that with Elementor. There's another way you can get into your Elementor elements from the toolbar. Okay, so let's just have a quick look. Wonder why it didn't change the color. Maybe I clicked on something wrong. I probably did. I usually do. Color, nice little pinky color there. I probably didn't actually come out of the element when I was saving it. So let's just do this one last time. There we go. That's it done. So I didn't come out of the element. It didn't set the color, but there you go. So really, really super simple. That's a header, a setup. You can go through all your different stuff. It's super simple, similar to Beaver Builder for that. Yeah, so that's all I really wanted to show you. I don't want to go at length because you can obviously get the idea as to what's going on. But yeah, I'm just going to take a few questions. We'll bring James back into the fold. Okay, Damien. I recently inherited support for a website with, built-in Elementor, but given the relative simplicity of the site, I feel it's just like overkill. Can a website built with it be switched back to Gutenberg? Yeah, quite easily. So Elementor and Beaver, very, very similar. You have the option when you've created a page or a post in Elementor, it will tell you in the post section that you can edit with Elementor, but you can switch back to the WordPress editor, and it'll convert as much as it can, much of the page content back into actual Gutenberg blocks for there. So yeah, it's fairly easy to do. I do agree with you. Simple websites might feel overkill. I guess my point of view would be from a business return of investment. So how much time is it going to take you creating the website in Gutenberg versus how much time it creates in Elementor or Beaver? I can create a website super quick in Elementor. I'm sure James can do one in Beaver in like minutes, if not a couple of hours. Like we're talking like full sites versus you're having to go into Gutenberg, go into a theme. You've got to do your headers and your footers and your 404 pages and your search and your archives and your blog post and your tags and your category archive and blah, blah, blah. So I guess my answer would be, I don't think it's overkill for small websites. I think I can do small websites super fast. And that means if I can do more of them, I can make more money. James, you got anything to?
Yeah, I think also you have to remember, like I agree, it may seem overkill, but when you want to change something later, it's just easier to keep it as is. But you have to remember, like, how much of the website was built with Elementor. If the theme was built with Elementor and you're using the theme builder, it's probably very difficult to change that back because there's nothing to replace it. Gutenberg doesn't do theme building. So if you're using the theme for it and you've got a header and footer with built-in Elementor, then I would say it's probably too difficult because then you need to go and find another theme and they're probably not going to be as good and it's a hassle. But if it's just a page, I try and use Block Editor or Gutenberg as much as possible for simple content, and then only if it really needs it, go for a Beaver Builder page. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Hope that answers your question.
Joe's asking, if you change your website settings for H1, etc., it won't go back and update existing posts and pages, only from that point forward.
Well, no.
This is the problem you get with if you jump into Elementor and Beaver as well. If you jump into all your pages and start changing, dragging in titles and H1s and H2s, if you're setting them all individually with typographies and colors, and then you go back and change the site-wide stuff, then you're going to have to go through all your pages and templates and find out where you've actually specifically set a color or a font or a font weight, and then change that back to the default. So it's much easier if you set both Beaver and Elementor up, all the global settings first, and then jump into your design.
I made that mistake when I first started. I was I went through and built a whole site, setting each module and each heading and each text module to have the same font. And I was like, oh, there must be a better way to do this. And afterwards, I found it was in the customizer there was default theme, and I was like, oh no. So it changes it all in one go.
Sunil says Divi offers theme plus page builder. Is it a good combination?
In the 4. From what I've seen, it's pretty limiting, and it's actually got a big design flaw in the way it works. When for example, with I wonder if I can pull up a picture of it. But with Divi, their theme builder, the way it works is you have like predefined sections of the website, and you have to go and enable the theme builder for that predefined section. So you don't actually have a lot of flexibility to change it. And where like Beaver Builder and Elementor, you have nothing predefined. You create it just uses your theme one as default, and then you go and add it in. So you get more control over like where it shows and how it's being overridden and things like that. But yeah, Divi's ones. It only got released, I think, at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Beaver Builder's had it for 3.5 years now or something. It's in its infancy, so I think it's a long way off.
Someone called OK says, can page builders make pixel perfect website? No. And how does respond?
Pixel perfect.
Yeah. How would that look on mobile? Can we customize mobile look? Yes, you can. In both, I don't like that view. I like this one better. In both Elementor and Beaver, yes, they've got responsive controls. So you just click a button and it changes the whole view into a tablet or the whole view into a mobile, so you can see exactly what it looks like as long as you set your breaks.
Yeah.
No page builder, no theme, no developer, no designer can make a pixel perfect website, because all browsers are different.
And all screen sizes are different. You can change the width of your screen, and the entire website has to respond to that. It's
Sunil asks, do marketing agencies use themes and page builders to develop sites for the clients? Yeah.
I don't see why not.
I mean, it's faster, it's easier, it's cheaper in the long run. So yeah, if you can do things faster and cheaper, then you make more money. So yeah, I would say absolutely yes. I mean, I'm kind of an agency, and I use it now. I could spend weeks developing a custom theme in Genesis, and yes, it would be nice, and the code would be lovely, and it'd be very, very well developed. But if I spend 6 weeks developing that, where I can spend a day doing it in Elementor, then yeah, I'm going to spend a day in Elementor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think similar to the question before, 5 years ago, that probably wouldn't be the answer. It would have been definitely do it custom, because the quality just wasn't there with the theme builders. And a lot of the theme builders now are definitely and they've got stability behind them. Interesting, I saw a thread in the well, was there an update with Elementor recently that broke a lot of sites or something like that? I saw on Search Engine Journal or something.
That was 5.
WP Tavern.
5.5. Yeah.
5.5 and the combination of Elementor 3 or whatever it is. I think
they released an update. They didn't work very well. So yeah.
I get the feeling from, I guess, in summary of like Beaver Builder and Elementor. Beaver Builder don't release features very often. They have like major releases like 2 or 3 times a year maximum. They do supplemental updates in between, but they don't really release many features because they go through 6 months of testing before they release a feature. And I've never ever had an issue updating a Beaver Builder site. I've never ever had an issue. I just hit the update button. I don't even check it. I don't do staging sites. I'm confident that it will update, no problem. Where Elementor, and maybe you can verify this, Will, I get the feeling they release lots of feature updates and lots of potentially gimmicky features. I'm not sure. Maybe they are useful very quickly, and they don't really test things as much. And I've noticed that because I'm in both the Elementor and Beaver Builder Facebook groups, and that's a big complaint about Elementor that I've seen, where Beaver Builder is good from a reliability perspective, but they don't have the fancy features like motion animations and things like that. So you kind of just got to weigh up which one's for you.
Yeah, totally. So the Elementor development cycle is definitely a lot more rapid than Beaver. I can't talk about testing because obviously I'm not an insider, so I'm sure they do a fair bit of testing before the release. But I guess with anything, the more stuff you put in there, then the more chances you have to break things up. Another question: what are other popular options to make websites in the industry with, like ACF flexible layout, ACF blocks, Gutenberg React-based blocks? If they are used, then what could be the reason for that? James, do you want to take that one first?
Yeah, so I think we're kind of seeing a change now anyway with the block editor. And I think it's very interesting to see what happens in the next few years about the block editor becoming more of a theme editor itself. And I think that's really going to change the landscape for page builders and for themes in general. Like maybe we don't need themes anymore. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think for now, get the most complete solution, I would use like Elementor or Beaver Builder because it has everything built into one fairly lightweight solution. And you don't really need to install 4 different things to get something done and have to write PHP templates for them. Like, for example, I use ACF extensively in a lot of my sites, and I have like content, ACF content blocks in the back end, not blocks, sorry, ACF content grids. What are they called?
Field groups.
Field groups, that's the word I'm looking for. ACF field groups in the back end. So I have like, I can show you an example on the Prosperity Media site that I recently just launched. They've got, on the growth studies page, I've got like 3 blocks of statistics. And all I did in the back end is I just made a field group for each one, and I said statistic 1, statistic 2, statistic 3, image, tagline, and description for each one. And then I just built my Beaver Builder layout and defined exactly how I want it to look, and I just connected it to the data. So, I think it's using ACF and page builders together is very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the websites I've just launched last week, they have farmers. So they're an organic grain company. So they deal with a lot of farmers. And they have farmers on the website. So, same as James there, I created an ACF field group with like farmer's name, their address, because they're pinned on Google Maps, image gallery, YouTube videos with a ACF repeater and an ACF image gallery. Went to Elementor, created a template, sucked in all the information, and it just displays exactly how it wants it to look, which gives the client consistency because it's displayed consistently, but gives them the flexibility to enter all the data, which you can't do within Gutenberg. Or if you obviously try and recreate every farmer in Elementor, it would just be a completely insane thing to do. I think there is a place for things like ACF Flex Layout and Gutenberg React-based blocks when you're talking about big corporates. So if you've got a big corporate business, a big enterprise that have their own in-house development team, and they've got things like compliance to deal with to make sure that all their compliance, all their regulations are up to speed. They don't want to be relying on a third-party plugin like Elementor to push out an update and it breaks, or if there's code issues, so they would bring all that stuff in-house. So I think things like Gutenberg, React, ACF, flexible layout, I think they've still got a place to live in certain circumstances. And again, that goes back to the question that somebody asked about, when would you use page builders and when not? Really, it's up to you. It's a return of investment for you as a business person, and it's also a conversation with your client as well to make sure they're happy with using that particular setup.
Yeah, definitely.
Linda, do I use Beaver Builder? I do.
Have you been to Will's website?
I've got a couple of websites that run Beaver.
Zero Point Development runs Beaver.
Yeah, 0 Point Development's on Beaver. WP Wingman's on Beaver, but my new website that I'm developing it's on Elementor.
Oh, really? What's your new website?
So there is a new one.
What's your new website?
I can't tell
you. Or is that a secret?
Okay. I think that's all the questions.
Yeah.
I'm coming up for an hour and a quarter anyway. So let's just call that a night. I think. Gordon's got one thing in there. All right. Okay. So you just need help on SEO. That's fine. That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm just going to do a shameless plug. So I do these WP quickies every week. So it's on Thursdays, 1 p.m. Sydney time. So that's tomorrow. So what I'm doing tomorrow is on webhooks, specifically WooCommerce webhooks. So I've been doing a little series on WooCommerce, and I did mention webhooks, and some people went, "Ooh, what are those?" So yeah, just gonna speak a little bit about webhooks. Not too technical, so it's very much an intro to what they are. So join me tomorrow if you can for a lunchtime quickie, and if not,
well, I have a question for you, Will.
Yeah.
So was it last week you did the Google Maps API?
No, I don't think so.
Or was it the week before? To show your reviews on the website.
Oh yes, reviews. Yes. Yep. Last week.
How do you show reviews for a service-based business? Because Google removed the API for it, and I have no idea where to find that, and there's no documentation about it. And you need, like, you know what I mean by service-based GMB?
Service-based I'll need to look into that. Yeah. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head.
Across all of my websites that I had service-based ones, they just disappeared overnight.
Right.
A couple months ago, about a year ago, and I haven't been able to get them back.
Okay, mine are still there, and I'm a service-based. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe they haven't found me yet.
Maybe. Yeah. I think
thanks so much for that. I do have a few banners here, so if you want to
plug as well,
find us on Slack. If you're not joined Slack, then there's the URLs down below, wpaustralia.org/Slack, and that will show you how to get your Slack login. And then, you can ask us questions. We've got channels like WP Sydney, there's a WP Para for the Para meetup, or just general meetups. And there's also a general code help, job support. So lots of stuff there. We're on Facebook as well under WP Sydney, Twitter as well under WP Sid, really to make sure we actually make all these the same. It'd be good. And of course on YouTube, which you're watching us WP WordPress Sydney. Yeah.
I've got a shameless plug. Next Tuesday, SEO Melbourne meetup. I think I did this shameless plug last month for the WordPress one as well. But the SEO Melbourne meetup next Tuesday, I'm doing a SEO talk that's WordPress based on how to set up a silo structure in WordPress. So what I mean by silo structure is if you've got your URLs, you've got mysite.com / products, and then you've got all the products after that, / blog, and all the blog posts after that, / categories, and all the categories after that, and keeping it kind of all similar. So I'm going to be doing a talk on how to set up a silo structure. So in other words, for good SEO, next Tuesday, October 6th, if that's correct. Let me check my calendar. Yes, next Tuesday, October 6th, on the SEO Melbourne meetup. And I think it's going to be a good one.
So people can just go on meetup.com and then type in
SEO Melbourne, yeah.
SEO Melbourne. Okay, great.
Maybe we can send an email out to everyone because it's a WordPress related one. We'll send you an email.
Put it on the meetup page on the Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, James, thank you very much for your time, and thank you everyone for joining in. And we'll try and schedule a big one for next month.
What's the topic going to be?
We'll see.
We were meant to do an SEO one, actually.
Oh yeah, could be.
October is SEO month. Maybe we should get a few guest speakers in.
Yeah, maybe we try and get Olga, Dejan.
Yeah, we can get a few guys from the Prosperity Office, maybe a few people from Melbourne.
Yeah.
We could have like a 2-hour massive SEO event.
Well, maybe not 2 hours, maybe
3 hours. Sorry, 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, we'll maybe do a form, send it out to all you guys, so you can fill out some SEO questions, and we can maybe ask a panel for that. Yeah, okay. Let's try and set that up for next month, James.
Okay. I will. I think it should be awesome. And let us know in the comments and on the meetup page if that's something you want, and we can. And I know, like, if we make if we do like a small SEO talk, it's good. But I guess with online, it doesn't really matter if we go a little bit over because people can watch it back later. Anything less than 5 hours won't be acceptable.
I completely agree. I don't think I can sit here for 5 hours. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Tuning next month. We'll try and put that SEO. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.